Welcome back to Lunchtime Politics. Now let's bring you some of the stories we're tracking in brief, beginning with River State, where the governor, Nyesom Wike, is assuring the people of Amok, Ndoni, Egbema local government area of the state of more development if the PDP is voted into office in the elections. The governor, who continued his statewide campaigns in Onelga, told the crowd of supporters that unkept promises is the bane of underdevelopment in the country and called on the party supporters to make wise decisions when casting their ballot in the poll. In another state, the governor, Willie Obiano, has continued to canvass for support for the National and State Assembly candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA. And this time, the campaign train storms the three local government areas of Aguata, Anocha and Ekusigo. Governor Obiano assures the people that APGA government will even take a higher dimension in the delivery of excellent governance if every support is given to all the candidates of the party. And the country director of the United Nations Women, Comfort Lamte, has called for a security beef-up as the 2019 elections approach. Speaking at a forum organized by the UN Women ahead of the 2019 elections in Abuja, she criticized the spate of violence at the just concluded primary elections and at some campaign venues, stating that it must be tackled headlong to avoid a repeat of the general elections. Now, there are reports of heavy security presence at the Court of Appeal in Port Harcourt, and this is as the two factions of the All Progressives Congress get set for the hearing of their pending appeals on their candidates' participation in the general election. Sitting at the Court of Appeal presided over by Justice Kolawole Omotosho, it came to an abrupt end yesterday, with the judges adjourning the matter before them till today, following the enforcement of the two-day court boycott directive by the Nigeria Bar Association. Our correspondent Emmanuel Ere is at the court and he's telling us what the latest is from the Court of Appeal in River State.
What I can tell you is that it has been very tough gaining access to the premises of the Port Harcourt division of the Court of Appeal. Perhaps this was informed by the alleged attack by suspected hoodlums on the branch chairman of the Port Harcourt branch chairman of the NBA while he led a team to enforce the court boycott yesterday. You have a very heavy presence of security operatives around the court premises, and one will wonder what the fight was really about and try to place the bearings of it, because as far as the appeals pending before this panel are concerned, it looks like there's still some road or some bridge to cross. We understand that the two factions of the APC have appeals before this panel on different issues, but what is important that we can draw out of this is that a faction is seeking a stay of execution of the January the 7th judgment by Justice Omotosho, restraining INEC from publishing APC as a party in the elections in River State. So we keep our fingers on the developing story and we'll bring it to you as it comes.
Many thanks, Emmanuel. Also be key to note that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, will be releasing the final list of candidates for the governorship, state assembly and FCT area council elections, which is to be published today. Now, according to INEC, the final list will be published in all the state offices nationwide and also the Commission's website. We'll be seeing where that takes all the other parties that perhaps still have court proceedings to go on that matter. Well, let's switch over now and go over to our Abuja studios. We're being joined by the Director of the Center for Democracy and Development, Idiat Hassan. Thank you so much once again for joining us as we analyze what's happening in our political atmosphere. I mean, the last time we spoke, we talked about the progress of all the stakeholders, all the players, ahead of the forthcoming elections, but a lot have happened since. So let's get your thoughts. Take, for example, the Onoge saga. I mean, are you convinced that perhaps Nigeria is on the right track, saying we just have 2 weeks to the elections?
Yes, I think the CJN saga has further heated up the polity, but I think it presents us opportunity to deepen our electoral jurisprudence, really, because as you know, there is a case in the Supreme Court, and for all and most of us now that the NJC has referred the petition to them and has given them 7 days within which to answer, all we can do is to keep our fingers crossed and wait for the outcome of the NJC investigation. And it's a welcome development, although it's not something that we expect to happen few weeks into the elections. But in the area of electoral jurisprudence and jurisprudence generally in law, we hope to see better things evolve and our democracy further deepen. But aside the issue of Onohe, which is ongoing and which has a lot of implication on the forthcoming elections, it's also important to note that we see all the actors are now actively campaigning as against what was previously obtainable at the end of 2018.
But most people have argued that the campaigns haven't been issue-based.
No. There is nothing like issue-based campaign. In fact, if you compare it to the 2015 elections, we could even argue that maybe it was a bit of more of issues. Now people are just pouring invectives onto the other party. The social media is very, very tense and very, very plural, with very venom being poured on people. And while we witnessed videos being played on TV station in 2015 elections, that has come back on the social media. This same kind of disinformation campaign that was launched has now appeared on social media in form of 2-minute videos, call it nukes, now dispensing things that will further, information that will further divide the polity. And fake news is actually controlling the elections rather than issues.
Let's ask, female participation in the elections in terms of candidates, also in terms of voter education, sensitization, participation, how would you rate it?
I think the participation in this election is not welcome, particularly from the dominant parties. So all in all, these dominant parties have presented, the two dominant parties have presented less than 20 candidates at the national for the Senate, like 17. Then altogether, we have like 237 candidates for the National Assembly elections from the list released by INEC. That is quite more. So we expect to see lesser women in the National Assembly in the forthcoming elections. But in case of voter education, you find that partners are actually doing a lot. They did a lot pre-elections, although the internal democracy in the party and the outcome of the party primaries was not actually favorable to women. But still, we are doing our best to ensure that women participate as voters in these elections and to see how we can negotiate to have more strategic positions for women with the incoming administration, whosoever emerges.
All right, Madam Hassan, we'd like to thank you for joining us on the program. Well, that's how we'll wrap things up on Lunchtime Politics from Channels Television, your home for the news. I'm Millicent Walker. Many thanks for watching.